For me, though, the creativity is I've become very associated with it, and it's not surprising because I keep talking about it and keep pushing it. But to me, it's really a portal. The idea is a portal into a bigger argument, which is what you're touching on, really, which is that education goes wrong, I think, when people lose sight of it being about people. And it seems such an obvious thing to say, but most of what passes for education reform, ignores the fact that there are people in the middle of it. It's seen as an impersonal process, not an individual process, not a social process. And the upshot of it is that a lot of people end up feeling alienated by their education, or feel that they're at fault, that it's their problem. It's like at the moment in America, it's on average about 30% of kids don't graduate from high school. I always avoid the phrase dropout, because it sounds, if you say dropout, it sounds like they failed. But it's equally plausible, isn't it, to say the system failed them. They didn't fail it. I always think this, if you had a business and you were losing over 30% of your customers every year, you might eventually think, well, is it me? Is it something we're doing? And it is something that schools are doing. And it's 30% in some parts of the country as an average. It's like 60% and more in some other parts. And you pay a massive social cost for it. And the remedy, very often, that policymakers seem to come up with is to say, well, we need to be more specific about standards. We need to have a core curriculum. We need to test more. And these are the very things that, on the whole, make it even more impersonal. It doesn't make it about the learners. I don't know when it started happening, but for a long time now, people have talked about teaching as a delivery system. I don't know when we started to confuse teaching with FedEx, that we're kind of dropping off the curriculum. And a lot of what I'm arguing about is just that education is about learning, and therefore it's about people, about learners. Everybody's like you, and you, they have biographies and motivations and circumstances and feelings and aspirations and hopes and abilities and anxieties. And if people don't tune into that as part of the process of education, then the students start to tune out. And they do. And they can be wounded for a very long time by it. If a young kid's told that they're stupid, or if it's not even that explicit, it just becomes clear to them that they are a problem, then they can carry that burden a very long time. And so for me, creativity is just one lens on the issue. It's an important one because I think that what makes us human is this gift of imagination and the powers of creativity that come out of it. There's a reason why we're sitting here and you've got cameras and we're in a building that's being constructed and we're wearing clothes that are being designed, and it's not the dogs and cats in here, it's not us wandering around outside, trying to pick something up off the street. We have these powers, and so if you start from the premise that education is about people, then you have to start to search as well, not just for what makes us individual, but what distinguishes us as, collectively. And creativity is, the greatest set of powers that we have at our disposal. So to me, it's a kind of emblem, for the bigger argument.